border defense system detected it and locked on with 2 nuclear warheads. Just as they were about to fire, the black dragon raised its hands in surrender and spoke in human tongue. "Leader, don't fire, I'm one of you." He then revealed his human name and provided his ID number and home address in full detail. It turns out, not long ago, I was transported to another world and became a black dragon. At first, I was thrilled, thinking I'd reached the peak of life as a dragon, but everything changed. I didn't inherit my predecessor's memories or wake any ancestral talents. The transformation of my life form left me completely dazed. I don't know how to breathe dragon fire, I don't understand dragon fighting techniques, and it even took me forever to learn to fly. All this made my life in that world miserable. Many times I had to act like a scavenger, a real bottom feeder, stealing kills from other predators. But this was only a temporary fix. After all, a 160-ton giant beast needs to eat several tons of meat to feel full. So, in these harsh conditions, I thought about finding someone to live with. Even if I had to be a subordinate, I would accept it. But unfortunately, due to language barriers, whether they were dragons or humans, they basically attacked on sight without giving me a chance to explain. After many rejections, I fell into total despair. Until one day, a caravan approached along a rugged mountain road. They were from the Soman Kingdom, hundreds of miles away, and had just completed a transaction with a mysterious realm. They were preparing to take the goods back to the city. That was the moment I encountered them. I didn't know what to expect, but I was desperate for a change in my fortune. I stood before them all, but just as I was preparing to feast, I suddenly noticed a nylon bag under an overturned cart. It had the words of the Lower Kingdom written in large letters, "Add refined salt." I held my breath and opened my eyes in disbelief. I couldn't believe this was real. Then, somehow, my eyes grew moist. The tears of a powerful dragon do not fall easily. It was only because I was deeply wounded inside. No one knows how I've been living these past 6 months. Once, I had to eat scrap iron because of hunger. Once, I couldn't sleep for days and nights due to confusion. Once, because of loneliness and homesickness, I used to talk to the sky alone. Once, I raged helplessly and screamed hysterically at the mountain peak. Now all of that has passed. I, who was lost, have found a direction again. "Where did you get these things?" I asked. The man stammered as he responded in the language of the Lower Kingdom. We got all these things by trading with the mysterious Lower Kingdom." Just as I thought, the Lower Kingdom has also arrived in this world. Great. In which direction is it? Forget it. Just take me there directly. On the way, after a conversation, I learned that this middle-aged man was named Luke, and he was a professional merchant who had already traded with the Lower Kingdom several times. According to him, the Lower Kingdom is an extremely mysterious realm that arrived in this world about half a year ago. It sits right on the border between the Lower Kingdom and the world. In the native world, a mysterious barrier exists. Inside and outside that barrier are 2 completely different worlds. In the Lower Kingdom, inside the barrier, magic doesn't exist, only something called science. The rules of that world and the air itself are very different from the native world. If native creatures go there, they face severe acclimatization problems. In the worst-case scenario, they will fall ill or die. People also don't dare to easily enter the native world outside the barrier. This is because their bodies lack affinity for magical elements. In the absence of strict protection, the omnipresent magical elements will cause their bodies irreversible damage. The barrier divides the 2 worlds continuously, making them operate separately. Without interfering with each other, few people can go deep near the Lower Kingdom. It can only be done with a weapon of peace. The strength of the Force is so great that it cannot be overcome by raw power, not only because it has powerful national strength and technological weapons, but also because it has a kind of ultimate weapon called peace, which even the gods must avoid. Hearing this, I felt excited. Could it be that my entire country is here? That would mean my parents are there too. Thinking of this, the frequency of my wing beats became faster. Finally, after flying for several hours, I saw a massive barrier rising from the ground. As soon as I entered, I felt very uncomfortable. The strength of the Force could not be so fast. I felt uneasy, with difficulty breathing, dizziness, and vertigo. An inexplicable sense of panic. My body's condition told me that the environment here was not at all suitable for a dragon's survival. But since I had come this far, I wasn't willing to give up without making contact with my country. So I continued flying inward. Not long after, several fighter jets also roared past, followed by 2 missiles. They were fired together and exploded right in front of me. Although they didn't hit me directly, the meaning was obvious. They didn't want me to keep moving forward. At that moment, another helicopter with an open door flew close. An officer inside shouted through a loudspeaker, "Lord Dragon, because you have entered our national territory illegally, please voluntarily submit to an investigation immediately. Do not offer unnecessary resistance. Please be assured that the Lower Kingdom is a great nation that values civilization and reason. As long as you cooperate actively with the investigation, we will guarantee the safety of your dragon body and your legal rights. Otherwise, I won't be able to help you. You will be responsible for all consequences. This is the best way. I guarantee you can have legal rights. Otherwise, you will be responsible for all the consequences." Lieutenant Colonel Miller didn't care if the giant dragon understood or not. Regardless, the procedure was in place. If it weren't for the superiors forbidding easy action against extraordinary beings, the military would have already taken drastic measures. Miller thought that, with the black dragon being such a proud creature, even if it understood, it wouldn't matter. In the end, he would likely have to use force. What no one expected was that this giant dragon, upon seeing them, would shout excitedly, as if seeing family. Leaders, don't fire. It's us. I'm going to die. This giant dragon can actually speak the language of the lower kingdom and says he is one of our own. Lord Dragon, I don't quite understand. Can you explain what you mean by that? Originally, I was just a resident of the lower kingdom. 6 months ago, somehow, I suddenly realized I was a giant dragon. I turned into this. My name is John C. I'm 26, and my ID number is 4503. My address is 20-1, Sinan Street, Jusin District, Gichin City, in the province of Tianan. My father is John Campin. He's 56 and self-employed. Along with my mother, Pam, they run a small supermarket. At that moment, the military officer was completely stunned. Keep in mind that, due to the barrier and the lower kingdom's secrecy, giant dragons aren't common. Intelligent creatures outside the barrier generally have very little knowledge of the situation inside the lower kingdom. It's not easy to invent all this information. Mr. John, calm down. I'm going to have someone verify this information right now. If it is correct, we definitely won't cause you trouble. Now, for your safety, it would be best if you flew outside the barrier as soon as possible. But leader, I can't fly. Could you find me something to eat first? I haven't eaten anything in 5 days. Of course we can. Shortly after, Lieutenant Colonel Miller confirmed from the base that the information provided by the black dragon in front of him was basically correct. Not much later, a helicopter arrived with 4 to 5 tons of beef. Seeing all that meat, I couldn't help but devour it in huge bites. However, after eating, though I felt full, I still couldn't fly. Also, while eating, I felt the meat was very fibrous. It was very different from the meat outside the barrier. I looked doubtfully at Lieutenant Colonel Miller, who smiled and explained, "This is because animals outside the barrier generally contain abundant magical elements in their bodies. Both the nutritional value and the meat quality, they are much higher than those of domestic animals. If you're used to eating meat from outside, you'll naturally feel the country's meat isn't as good. But you don't have to worry. I've already contacted the experts at the Science Academy. They'll soon come to develop a rescue plan for you. They might do blood tests and some trials. But don't worry, they definitely won't endanger your life." I nodded my head in agreement. After all, when I came to this country, I was prepared to be treated like a guinea pig. Besides, a dragon's vitality is extremely strong. Even if they dissect me, I can heal completely. Mostly, I also want to see my heart, liver, spleen, and lungs. A few hours later, the research staff from the Science Academy arrived. First they drew my blood, and then they placed a small robot in my heart. They put a small robot inside my body for testing. They said this would give them a general understanding of my organs and bone structure. The robot would eventually be excreted with my waste. Basically, it poses no danger to the body. Except that, during the inspection, I accidentally digested the robot completely in my stomach. Not only did it feel quite good, but I could clearly feel that this thing was very nutritious for me. I hope they can bring a few more machines like that. Do you still have the type of robot you just used? Strange request, but the research team leader, Dean Stephen, reacted quickly. It must be that this robot contains some substance that the dragon's body urgently needed. But just as he was about to order the others to bring more machines, a voice was suddenly heard from the side. "Dean, I don't think there's a need to be so complicated. We can start with batteries." The one who spoke was Julia, a researcher on his team, the first person to discover that electrical energy can charge extraordinary beings. It turns out that about 5 months ago, the country had captured an angel of light who had entered illegally. At that time, due to the lack of magic for too long, he fell into a deep coma. The nearby military hospital rushed to rescue him. But since they knew so little about this type of extraordinary creature, all treatment methods were ineffective. Only when a defibrillator was used did the angel's heart rate show any reaction. Julia guessed that it was very likely the angel had fallen into a dormant state. The heart rate is a sign of false death, and the change in heart rate is stimulated by the powerful electrical energy emitted by the defibrillator. The strength simply isn't enough, so he hasn't woken up yet. It's recommended to increase the intensity. Later, many researchers also accepted Julia's suggestion regarding the angel's heart. They performed multiple shocks with the defibrillator, and finally, under a high voltage of 200,000 volts, they successfully woke the angel. After hearing this, I was speechless. An angel is, after all, a creature of legend. In reality, it depends on a charge to recover its energy. This is too realistic, too unimpressive. But thinking about it, this is a fantasy world. Many things really can't be seen with the perspective of the past anymore. That being the case, don't hesitate. Connect me directly to the electricity. Dean Stephen nodded upon hearing this and immediately ordered someone to bring 2 cables. They inserted them directly into my mouth, with a constant current flowing rapidly toward my heart. Along the blood vessels, I suddenly felt the whole dragon was much more lively. Even the influence of the curved membrane diminished. With the 2 cables in my mouth, I groaned with pleasure, squinting my eyes. After a while, I remembered to tell the researchers my feelings. This sensation is like receiving divine hormones. My whole body was recovering, and I could clearly feel that I was becoming stronger. But getting stronger just by charging, isn't the threshold too low and too simple? Hearing this, Dean Stevens smiled. Mr. John, you don't know. This threshold actually isn't low at all. Because before we arrived in this world from our realm, this world had no electricity. No electricity? Do you mean the technology of this world is too backward, and they haven't developed and used electrical energy yet? He shook his head. What I mean by there being no electricity in this world doesn't mean there truly isn't any. It means no matter what method is used, it's impossible to generate electricity. In the nature of the foreign world, electricity and free electrons don't exist at all. Naturally, no electrical potential difference can form. Generating electricity is impossible, though natural lightning and magical electricity still exist. What? No electricity or electrons? How is that possible? Mr. John, the foreign world is much more complex than we imagined. It seems you don't know that the microscopic domain below the micro level in that world has long been locked in a dense fog. The sun, moon, and stars in the sky are no longer the celestial bodies we know, but complex energy groups. From what we understand, the foreign world is like a highly exploited ranch. The so-called gods are the owners, and all intelligent beings are sheep under their care. To facilitate control, they don't want their sheep knowing too much or becoming too smart. I see. So what can be done? This charging trick, isn't it exclusive to our realm? That's right. However, Mr. John, electrical energy isn't actually that magical for extraordinary creatures like you. Based on what we learned from that angel, electricity can't make you much stronger. It's more like a direct and efficient way to replenish energy. You aren't actually getting stronger. It's just that your body has gone too long without energy replenishment. Many organ functions haven't fully developed. Electrical energy simply reactivates weak, dormant organs, allowing your body to gradually return to its peak state. How about this, Mr. John? It's getting late. Why don't you come back to the lab with us? We have better equipment to recharge you. The next day, in a reception room at the Balin River military area. What did you say? My son has turned into a giant dragon. After the phone call, it didn't take long for the local leaders to visit. John Campen and his wife were told their son was involved in secret work and couldn't return for now. The Balin River military area strongly invited them to visit, saying Comrade John C. was under a lot of mental pressure due to work issues. He urgently needed the comfort and company of his parents. Hearing this, the couple couldn't sit still. They traveled thousands of miles to Vel City, only to receive this information upon arrival. Currently, we have no way to find John C. John Campen and his wife were told their son was on a secret mission, so we invited you both here this time. We want you to judge and confirm something. As he spoke, he turned on the wall projector and played videos of the black dragon from the last 2 days. John Campen and his wife watched intently. Wife, it really looks like our son. Even if he's a different creature, that cowardly, lazy, tired energy, it's definitely our foolish son, no doubt. And you, John C., when will we be able to see John C.? In the video, inaccuracies are inevitable. It would be best if we got closer to exchange a few words. Mr. John C. has always wanted to meet you. How about we go right now? In a short time, Lu Weian led the couple to the place where the black dragon was being charged. When the staff cut the power to the dragon, almost at the same time, I woke up and saw my parents. I wanted to run and hug them, but Lu Weian stopped me, waving his arms frantically. Then I realized I wasn't the same. A 170-ton baby like that. I'm afraid everyone would end up badly. Are you really my son? Of course I am. I'm really John C. What is John C.'s blood type? What is John C.'s least favorite fruit? Durian. When he attended the temple fair in the summer of 2002, what impressed John C. the most? I got lost. No, that's not right. You clearly forgot about me. At that time, I ran crying behind your car for 100 meters, and you didn't react at all. You even gave me 5 mao to bribe me, so I wouldn't hold a grudge. What? What is John C.'s blood type? What is John C.'s least favorite fruit? Durian. When he attended the temple fair in the summer of 2002. What? Our technical department just noticed you posted an update to your circle of friends, saying your son had turned into a giant dragon. You even added a photo to explain it. I'm sorry, what was I thinking? This matter is a state secret and cannot be revealed. Is there still time for me to delete it? Haha. Our technical department blocked and deleted that update immediately. It caused no social impact. I came this time mainly regarding Mr. John C.'s identity issue. We need to talk to you both. So in the future, when he is in dragon form, he can no longer use the name John C. His new name is Debushi, a progressive dragon from Beijing. And it's clear he doesn't know you too. So in the future, in public, I hope you maintain your distance. Try not to mention the name John C. Don't be too affectionate, much less call him son. Although John Campen thought it was a bit unfair for his own son, what Li Weian said wasn't without reason. Besides, Li Weian said they would compensate him later, so the couple had no choice but to accept it willingly. On the other hand, at the Northern Dragon and the Insu Bin Military Area Research Institute, a research team is being directed to study the black dragon's blood. But with their current capabilities and conditions, they still haven't been able to understand the mysteries of dragon blood. So someone suggested they could think of ways to obtain it from abroad. I've heard that some ancient families and alchemist wizards master the secret of brewing dragon blood into potions. Ordinary people can drink it and quickly gain a dragon lineage, becoming powerful dragon blood warriors. Just recently, there is news that an adult red dragon on the southwest border intends to sell dragon blood to illegal elements in our country. Maybe we can find a way to set a trap and secure that blood. General Dean's eyes lit up after hearing this. Even though it is a bit Difficult to capture an adult red dragon abroad. The adult black dragon is stronger than the red one. Plus, we can equip John with high-tech weapons and send a few more J-20 jets. There's no doubt they can capture a red dragon. And when John also masters the method to return to human form, we can consider the possibility of finding him a girlfriend. The more General Dean thought about it, the more he liked it. But first, we must rationalize the black dragon's identity so he can appear in public and work for the country. So General Dean found me and told me about the script he had written. A powerful black dragon named Debussy faced an evil demon king and was gravely injured. He was betrayed by the filthy werewolf hyenas who were on top of him. At this moment of life or death, a brave and beautiful exploration team leader discovered the black dragon. Ignoring everyone's objections, she rescued him, helping the black dragon escape from danger. Wait a minute, Dean. Isn't this script a bit unreasonable? Where are these beautiful women going abroad as exploration team leaders who just happen to find a dying dragon and then save him out of pity? The plot keeps developing like this. We need to add some romantic elements. My dragon falls unreservedly in love with this team leader. To win her favor and stay by her side, he resolutely chooses to protect a lower-level country. Even though this script is a bit cliché, it has logic and potential to spark debate. Ordinary people will surely love hearing it. They are willing to listen and believe. As long as we add this son-in-law of the lower kingdom trait to the giant dragon's plan, it will definitely increase everyone's sympathy and identification with you. This will be more beneficial for your future work with this identity. It seems to make some sense. Fine, but my acting skills are limited. Don't blame me if it goes wrong. Thank you very much for your understanding and cooperation. John, don't worry, much acting isn't needed. Just be cold and dominant. Leave the rest to us. The only issue is choosing the female lead. John might have to decide that personally. I have a feeling they're setting me up on a blind date. He was speechless for a moment and then hesitated. He felt there was no need to hide or cover it up. John, if you look at it that way, there's actually no problem. In fact, we want to find you a girlfriend. Return to my human form? Letting me go on dates with this horrible image of over 100 tons would be too difficult for me. John, you don't have to worry about that. Actually, we've already found a way for you to return to your human form. Really, right now, there is a red dragon planning to sell dragon blood to some criminals in our country, and he masters the ability to transform into a human. He has used human form several times to negotiate with the buyers. Then why are we hesitating? Let's hurry and find him to buy that method. John, this is the plan. We won't spend money or effort finding this red dragon to buy the method. Instead, we'll use a simpler and more direct method. We will simply capture him alive. It's not that we're cruel. It's that this red dragon has hidden motives and is evil. He often demands massive protection fees from the merchants traveling back and forth on our foreign trade routes. Not only that, but he also colludes with domestic and foreign criminals to steal state secrets and strategic resources. In reality, we have wanted to take action against him for a long time. But capturing an adult red dragon alive abroad is still very difficult. Before, I couldn't even beat the most useless white dragon. How am I going to fight a red dragon now? At that moment, David saw my concern and said, the black dragon is recognized as the king of melee combat among dragons, and you won't have to fight him alone. Our army will definitely formulate a meticulous plan and send fighter jets and ground troops to cooperate with you. With a heavenly net and a terrestrial trap, beating a simple red dragon will be a piece of cake. Hearing this, I sank into my thoughts. If I were a solitary dragon, it would be fine, but now I have returned to my homeland. Depending on state resources to eat and sleep well, I can get stronger by charging electricity. Now I fear that all my compatriots in the lower kingdom who know of the dragon's existence have high hopes for me. Thinking of this, my gaze turned firm. Fine, I can go face that red dragon, but before that, I should look for some weaker opponents to practice. After all, my combat experience is really very limited. I still haven't mastered my body or my skills. Of course, no problem. In fact, your idea matches ours, John. Look to the northeast of the Balin trade port, about 100 kilometers away. An adult chimera lives there. Its power level is approximately 5. It is the perfect opponent for you. This will be your first practice. West of trade port number 5, about 120 kilometers away, there is a subadult immortal phoenix. Its power level is approximately 6. It can be your second challenge objective. North of trade port number 4, about 200 kilometers away, there is a volcano. Inside lives a level 7 rock demon. It will be your final challenge goal. As long as you can defeat it, capturing that red dragon will be a piece of cake. Seeing the final challenge objective, my eyes widened. You have to understand that level 7 supernatural creatures have an individual destructive capacity of over 100 tons of TNT equivalent. Do you really think I can challenge a level 7 rock demon? This is overestimating me way too much, isn't it? No, John, adult black dragons are just that powerful. It's just that you haven't realized it yourself. Take for example the 50,000 degrees of electricity you've absorbed in the last few days. This already equals more than 40 tons of TNT equivalent, and your body can absorb at least 150,000 degrees of electricity. That is, your energy level is at least 120 tons of TNT equivalent. Of course, you are a full-fledged level 7 entity, and choosing this rock demon as your Opponent is also a decision we've made after careful consideration. First of all, in terms of attributes, the black dragon is inherently the opposite of the rock demon. The most powerful thing about the magma membrane is fire magic, and the magic resistance of the black dragon is very high. Additionally, the high-temperature environment of a volcano has always been a preferred habitat for dragons, so dragons often break into the territory of the magma membrane to take a bath, which causes fights. And in these conflicts, dragons usually have the upper hand. Finally, even if something goes wrong during the battle, we have a way to fix it. Our country's missiles are severely weakened abroad, but taking a 20,000-ton warhead as an example, the actual power might be about 200 or 300 tons, which is equivalent to ordinary 7th circle magic, which you can completely resist with your body strength. But the rock demon might not be able to, since its body is made of lava and its structure is unstable. Taking a hit could make it crumble and fall into a deep sleep. So, in the worst case, we can even use missiles to help you. After listening, I thought about it for a bit. Since everything had been said, I had no reason to refuse, so I accepted the plan. 2 days later, with 2 PL-12 air-to-air missiles hanging under my belly, I set off with bold arrogance, thinking this would compensate for my lack of magic. Shortly after, I reached my destination, which was a vast swampy area. At that moment, several J-6 fighter jets were already circling the area. Their task was to guide me and find prey. Mr. John, we found the Chimera. It's 3 kilometers ahead to your right. I saw it too. Any problems? If not, I'm going in. At this moment, the Chimera also sensed something was wrong. 2 days ago, several JSIXS had been loitering near its territory. Obviously, they were scouting the place. In the eyes of native creatures like the Chimera, the J-6 was undoubtedly a very annoying existence. One reason is they fly fast. The other is they make a lot of noise. So the Chimera has been listening these past 2 days. A massive black dragon lunged at it with great momentum. That terrifying dragon power was substantial, and from thousands of meters away, it made the creature feel unprecedented dread and suffocation. It froze for a few seconds, and by the time it reacted, my powerful, sharp claws had already slammed it into the ground. I was actually surprised myself. That dragon power felt more like a passive skill. I looked down at the Chimera lying motionless on the ground. Not only was it no fun, but it didn't even give me a chance to enjoy the fight. I felt like a true, dominant dragon. I still wanted to fire off a couple of shots. Guys, I didn't expect this thing to be so weak. I couldn't hold back for a second. I knocked it out cold immediately, and I didn't even have time to test the missiles. What do I do now? We should change locations and keep going. Sir, we just don't recommend you head back yet. Target number 2 is over 200 kilometers away from us. Abroad, the range of our fighter jets is limited. Flying there might mean they can't support you for long, but otherwise, it's not a problem. At the same time, we still hope you can bring this Chimera back. They want to conduct some research on it. Fine. Reluctantly, I picked up the Chimera's body and headed back. After flying back to the domestic base, I didn't care what the Academy of Sciences planned to do with this Chimera. Instead, I shouted directly into the communication channel. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's head out for the next round. Wait a moment, Mr. John. Before you go looking for the Phoenix, there is an issue we need to discuss with you. What issue? It's not a big problem. We just hope you'll be a bit more lenient when you fight that Phoenix later. The Phoenix is a very rare creature. Based on what we currently know, the total number of Phoenixes abroad might not even reach 50. It's an endangered transcendent life form. Our country is currently planning to formulate a new animal protection law. The Phoenix will be included in the world's first-tier protected animal catalog. So Mr. John, please, try not to kill it. Fine, I said after a moment's pause. I really didn't expect the ministry to make such a request. Our country only arrived in this world a few days ago, and they've already started considering animal protection in the ecological chain. This must be the style of a legendary great power. The Phoenix's nest is built on a massive fire tree. When I arrived, the Phoenix was lying in its nest grooming itself. But its vigilance is obviously much higher than the Chimera's. It spotted me from over 10 kilometers away and took the initiative to attack decisively. Seeing this, I hastily launched 2 missiles, though they missed the target. They also completely enraged the Phoenix. Suddenly, it spat out several fireballs. I resisted several of them consecutively and even opened my mouth to swallow one. But still, nothing happened. This scene didn't just scare the Phoenix. Even I started to doubt my life as a dragon. It seems that, as Dean said, I know very little about my own power. After the opening, I let loose and released all my dragon power, savagely attacking the Phoenix. But the Phoenix is also a 6th-level transcendent creature. Despite its speed and the advantages of long-range magic, the Phoenix's movements aren't helping it at all. It's becoming a one-sided beating under my pressure. But this in turn will only irritate it. The hidden power within the Black Dragon's bloodline began to activate. As the battle intensified, more wounds appeared on my body, but that didn't stop me. It only made me feel more excited, more joyful. In this blood-soaked, focused fight, I felt my human soul finally merge perfectly with this dragon body. The black dragon was born to fight. I am the king, I muttered to myself. By now, the Phoenix was completely terrified. It had never seen anything like this. How could a giant dragon become stranger and more terrifying the more it fights? It was truly frightening. At that moment, the immortal phoenix decided to retreat. With a burst of speed, it tried to fly past me and escape the battle. But suddenly, my dragon power aura, which had been stable, turned chaotic. An unknown power surged wildly, and a massive bolt of lightning appeared from nowhere. It paralyzed the immortal phoenix for a split second. I seized the opportunity to whip it with my dragon tail and coil around it tightly. Then I snapped my jaws. My windblade dragon fangs made it easy. They spare no expense on advanced tech. The entire fight was broadcast live. They saw the black dragon suppressed, then explode into a battle fervor. Finally, when that ferocity erupted into a counterattack, everyone's emotions fluctuated like a roller coaster. Commander Mason said with enthusiasm, "Battle is indeed the fastest way for a giant dragon to grow and awaken. I believe soon, Mr. John will fully merge with and master the black dragon's body." Everyone was thrilled, but Dean frowned with a hint of concern. Actually, he wasn't surprised at all. What worried him most was the bloodline power inside the black dragon's body. Right then, as I returned triumphant after winning the battle, I saw Sarah waiting for me with a woman, saying she was a psychologist. She was here for my counseling. I refused at first, but I couldn't stand their relentless nagging. Besides, this woman is too young. She doesn't look like a professional psychologist at all. She looks more like someone coming to meet me, as if she had read my mind. The woman admitted it quite generously. "That's right, Mr. John," she said. "While I am your psychological counselor, I am also one of your blind dates." I felt inexplicably uncomfortable. I turned my head and said to Sarah, "Sarah, could you change her? I don't feel any chemistry with this lady." But before Sarah could speak, the woman spoke again. "Mr. John, we just met. How did you reach that conclusion? You think that the more beautiful a woman is, the more confident and sharp she is, the harder she is to please and control. Is that why you think that? You decided to stay away out of respect. How do you know that?" I blurted out. "Mr. John, I've read your file and I can see you must be a bit of a chauvinist, especially after becoming a giant dragon. That feeling should be even stronger now, right?" I stayed silent for a moment and then turned to look at Sarah, as if to say, "See, this woman isn't my type. You know I'm old-fashioned, and yet you pressure me. Her level is too high for me. Mr. John, don't misunderstand me. Before becoming your blind date, my job is to be your psychologist. Please trust my professional ethics and give me a little time." I thought about it. "Fine, for the sake of my background and manners, I'll give you 3 minutes." She smiled and pulled out a notebook. "Mr. John, if I'm not mistaken, whether psychologically or physiologically, you've lost interest in human women, haven't you?" I patted my tail and stayed silent for a moment, but finally I told the truth. "Fine, my aesthetics and my criteria for choosing a partner really do have a problem. Before, I also liked to admire beauty. But after becoming a giant dragon, I even met a perfect angel, and I didn't feel any goodwill or desire to possess her. Instead, I later met a maternal white dragon that made my whole dragon body get excited. Mr. John, your situation isn't strange at all. To give you a simple example, many people like cats, even if they are beautiful and adorable. But without transforming into a cat-eared girl, I don't think anyone would feel driven by their bodies, right?" Hearing this, I hesitated. I couldn't say with a clear conscience that I like them very much. But since that's the case, why do they still set me up on blind dates? With this kind of situation, I'm afraid no one will ever truly love me, right? Inside, I thought, that's true. I'm not sure about others, but as far as I'm personally concerned, right now, I don't really like Mr. John that much. Haha. Hearing this, I felt a bit annoyed. "Fine, woman, you've managed to catch my attention." I raised my head and looked down at her with a dangerous gaze. At this moment, although the woman was a little nervous, she still pretended to be calm and said loudly, "That's great, Mr. John. John, my name is Sarah. You'll definitely remember me, won't you?" Maybe not. I suddenly felt that scaring a girl didn't make much sense, so I lay back down and closed my eyes to doze off. What is this situation? Unfortunately, in the end, I'll have to change people. He really is a conceited and detestable person. Forget it. Conceited people are like donkeys. Just smooth their hair and they'll be easy to win over. Come on, Sarah, believe in yourself. You'll surely become an expert in dragonology. The Dragon Knight. I actually don't agree at all with the research team assigning him a girlfriend. Oh, so what? Even if my rank isn't high, I can also vaguely feel that, although this woman says she isn't obsessed with my body, she's actually just playing hard to get. How could I fall so easily into her trap? Marcus, our research team, are you planning to create an identity for Mr. John as a strategic dragon? Yes, that plan exists, but don't you think the program of a dragon in love with a human is too ridiculous and artificial? If I'm not mistaken, our main objective is, in fact, to plan the identity of the dragon, to show foreigners the advanced civilization and friendly attitude of our country, and thus reduce foreign prejudice and hostility toward our nation, but using the angle of love between humans and dragons, maybe in the eyes of our own people. Such a story is very romantic and touching, but intelligent foreign races won't see it that way, especially the dragons. They will only feel that their IQ has been insulted, and they will think that our country must have used some dirty means to forcibly brainwash the black dragon. This way, not only will they not feel our country's goodwill, they'll be more alert and think we're a dangerous, evil nation. So, I believe it's very unreasonable to use a human dragon love script to build a personality for him. Mr. John, I agree with your opinion. What Sarah said really touched my heart. After all, what can be done? Dragons basically hate being organized or matched up. They prefer using their own eyes to find their so-called soulmate. Marcus frowned. What you said makes sense. How about this? I'll pass your opinion to Director Dean. Let the staff discuss it again. You can participate then. Fine. Sarah blinked playfully. Miss Sarah, since you think the love script isn't suitable for me, you must have a better plan, right? Not all intelligent races long for love. My plan is for Mr. John to be a black dragon filled with a thirst for knowledge and curiosity. By chance, he encountered our country's brilliant civilization, a collision of ideas, a big bang. The origin of the black dragon soon realized the decay and backwardness of the dark world he saved. He recognized deeply that freeing the mind and developing productivity is the only way to liberate the dragon race, save them, and realize self-worth. Well said, well said. Marcus was still stunned, but I couldn't help but applaud Sarah. Having ideals, having wisdom, and having the courage to seek the truth despite betraying the whole world. With a desperate gamble, such a dragon design is worthy of admiration. It's logical, unlike before, where for some shitty romance, I'd surrender my whole dragon life. That's truly too stupid and naive. It's too despicable. Sarah, this is actually very good. Marcus reacted to this. Your idea is great. Now I'm going to find Director Dean. I'll try to persuade them to follow your plan. As he spoke, Marcus waved and left in a hurry. Mr. John, what did you think? Satisfied with my performance? It's fine. Well, you barely met my expectations. You can be my psychological counselor. So, please give me more advice in the future. At noon the next day, I was charging in the military zone when I saw Orion running over excitedly, saying that Director Dean had called another seminar meeting that morning. He highly recognized your point of view and decided to rewrite the script. The script after the initial discussion is a dragon, cursed by an evil god, unable to endure the torment in his body and soul. One day entered our airspace in a state of confusion. For safety, our country launched a missile directly to shoot him down and detained him. What followed was a long, subtle process. When the dragon deeply understood all aspects of our country, the internal accumulation continued. Finally, the quantitative change caused a qualitative shift. His ideology began to awaken, and he decided to change his fate against the heavens, becoming the first dragon revolutionary in history. It sounded reasonable and logical, at least more reliable than human dragon love. The national news broadcasted that a black dragon mistakenly entered our country's airspace, and after repeated deterrent warnings were ineffective, he was shot down. The news of his downing has already been broadcast. It instantly caused a massive sensation. The internet exploded. Netizens started intense debates online. The hottest topic was what to do with the dragon. People don't believe the dragon is an enemy to everyone. Some think the dragon's flesh and blood contain a powerful life energy. They believe it can effectively improve and strengthen our people's genes. We should try to capture all the dragons and domesticate and breed them artificially. Others think the dragon's flesh and blood cannot be eaten. Officials wouldn't lie, but most people still have their doubts. They think this is just an official way to hide the truth. After all, in foreign countries, there are cases where dragon blood has turned the dragon into a great enemy. The reason officials publicly declare that dragon blood cannot be eaten is because it's too rare and only people with power and status can enjoy it. If we commoners also wanted it, how would this end? And if they want everyone to believe dragon blood is useful, the best way is for the country to take this black dragon and parade it through the major cities. Organize 2 sessions, allow our people to have close contact and experience it, to see if the dragon is an enemy or not. That would clear everyone's doubts. In a short time, the discussions intensified, and many people even commented under various videos. They said the officials should take the black dragon out for a walk. This idea was supported by most people, and it soon reached the top of the comment sections on several videos. It began to spiral into an uncontrollable trend. Meanwhile, on an unknown hill, in the southwest border county, a business negotiation is taking place with no end in sight. Listen, Mr. Alistair, 50 pounds of gold and a liter of dragon blood is simply too high a price. Our country has very strict regulations on gold right now. It's incredibly difficult to move hundreds of pounds of gold, and I don't think you want this to be a one-time deal, do you? I don't care. Stop talking nonsense. I only want gold. Don't think I'm a fool. To make a deal this big, you people must have an official background. I understand how this works. Instead of arguing with you lackeys, it would be better to speak directly with the officials. Don't they have reserves of tens of thousands of tons of gold? Maybe if my attitude is better, I could become the first dragon to take the initiative. By cooperating with the SIA, they might not have any problem providing tens of thousands of pounds of dragon blood. The SIA agents looked at each other, not expecting him to say such a thing. After a long silence, the leader spoke cautiously. But if that's the case, Mrs. Jane, aren't you afraid of being cheated? You know the SIA officials' reputation isn't great. Even their own citizens' freedom to travel and their legal wealth can be exploited and restricted. Our dragon reputation isn't great either, is it? So why aren't you afraid that I'll cheat you? It's simply because the profits are high enough, and you are willing to take that risk. The SIA agents were left speechless. They had to admit that Mrs. Jane was right. If it weren't for greed and the temptation of power and Longevity. Why would they risk approaching a powerful red dragon? Even if this red dragon is a freak of nature, why would they risk approaching a powerful red dragon? Among dragons, it's estimated I've been in the human world for a long time. Speaking of rules and reasons, otherwise, I wouldn't think of taking the initiative like this. It's strange to sell blood to humans, but I understand them well enough to know this red dragon is not easy to cheat. They tried their best to haggle the price of dragon blood down from 100 pounds of gold per liter to 50 pounds. I simply refused to budge further, claiming it was only this low because they followed Mercury, the god of commerce. To live freely abroad, they had offered gold and faith to Mercury, becoming free citizens in foreign lands. Mrs. Jane, if you can provide the recipe for the dragon blood potion, then we are willing to accept this price. Asking a dragon for a blood potion recipe? What are you thinking? The dragon blood potion is an ancient brew that allows humans to possess the power of a dragon. It first originated from the grace of the dragon god to humans, but it is also a punishment for dragons. If I give you the recipe, wouldn't I be indirectly encouraging you to hunt other dragons? Wouldn't I become a criminal to my own race? I am a dragon of principle, unless you add more money. Mrs. Jane, how much do you want? 100 tons of gold? Why don't you just go rob a bank? Actually, I've thought about robbing one, but 100 tons of gold for the recipe is a bargain. With this, you can compensate for the miserable weakness of your individual STA agents and finally become the true masters of this world. For something involving your national destiny, can't you handle a mere 100 tons of gold? We are SIA defectors now. We can't go home, let alone get 100 tons of gold. We can't even produce a single ton. Can't you provide it? Let the people behind you provide it. Don't think I don't know that you so-called defectors are definitely connected to SIA officials. You have wretched connections, and perhaps you've even received the backing and tacit permission of those officials. Otherwise, with SIA's advanced technology and magic and the organization's management capabilities, if they really decided to, couldn't they control these stowaways? Mrs. Jane, it seems you know our SIA very well, though I also knew that the situation in SIA couldn't be hidden from the outside world for too long. But dragons are, after all, creatures with very little sociability, and news of them has always been very scarce. And it is somewhat surprising that this red dragon in front of me can understand it so clearly. This is natural. After all, you SIA people are rich, and you are also the most powerful foreign race in the history of our world. Even the gods are uneasy about your arrival. As a solitary dragon, I have a strong sense of optimization and pay special attention to understanding your SIA. Isn't this very normal? Mrs. Jane, I really can't make a decision. On your request, I need to go back. I can only give you an answer after discussing it with people higher up. Fine, but only you can go back alone, and I'll only give you 4 hours. I must have an answer before sunset, otherwise, I will kill your 2 companions. Although, we dragons often don't keep our word. This time, darling, I'm being serious. In 2 hours, only 3 hours left. Can old Sam make it in time? Surely he can. I know. Old Sam, he's a very loyal man. The leader's name is Sam, and he used to be a rich kid with plenty of heart. He is considered one of the main initiators of this smuggling organization after the incursion into the other world. While ordinary people were still panicking over the shock measures, some ambitious people with courage and means had already started secretly contacting the outside world. They soon discovered that the magical world outside was much more exciting than modern society. So, before the country took it seriously, old Sam and others had already organized hundreds of like-minded netizens to start researching and exploring the outside world. In just half a year, the outside world became a dream world. Their organization had tens of thousands of official members and millions of external members. They also formed a massive network of relationships spanning the political and business sectors. If the country hadn't noticed in time, the alliance wouldn't have tightened supervision of gold and personnel flow. Otherwise, the number of people who smuggled themselves abroad in this half year wouldn't be just a few tens of thousands, but millions. You should know that free entry abroad costs half a kilo of gold, even if it were only 1 million people. That's 500 tons of gold. At this rate of flight, the lower realm couldn't withstand it. For long, the whole country would collapse. Don't worry, even if he doesn't arrive in time, I won't kill you. As they say in your lower realm, what is the most valuable thing in the world? Talent? Talent is the most valuable resource. As long as there is talent, wealth and career will come naturally. If you dare to abandon comfort and come abroad to try your luck, I assume your ability and vision must be quite good. What a pity. It would be better if you stayed as my slaves. The two looked at each other, unable to guess why the Red Lady would suddenly say such things. It sounds like she's trying to win us over people's hearts. Actually, I really like your lower realm, especially your civilization. Your lower realm isn't just a simple nation, it's a terrifying civilization disguised as a nation, appearing kind and harmless. In fact, it possesses a very strong aggression and a fairy tale-like capacity. Even I, an adult dragon who has lived thousands of years, felt it. After coming into contact with the civilization of your lower realm people, I can't help but feel a certain longing. Clearly, your civilized history is only a few thousand years old, not even the lifespan of some elder dragons. But the elements within it and the details are much richer and more exciting than the tens of thousands of years of our dragon race's history. Of course, This is mainly because our world is too bleak and boring. The gods control everything, and war and chaos are unchanging themes. So, don't forget to keep watching. You people from the lower realm are welcome to come. Honestly, I welcome it. After all, this world of rot, like stagnant water, needs something new. It needs a true Ragnarok to establish a new order. On the other hand, at that moment, I played dead the whole time, and the military took me back to the base in a large truck. All along the way, there was a professional film crew following us. They were taking photos to publicize and maintain the hype that the dragon entered illegally and was shot down. All for the justice of our country. I estimate I'll become a live-streaming dragon. With my head bowed, the directing team plans to cooperate with the national TV station to make a program about entering the dragon's world. The main goal is to help the general public to correctly recognize dragons as extraordinary creatures and correct the mistake that everyone wants to eat dragon meat and blood. Meanwhile, in an underground research lab in the lower realm, Kyle saw the news on TV that the black dragon had been shot down by missiles and captured. Even a physically powerful creature like the black dragon was beaten until its skin split and its flesh was exposed. Kyle couldn't imagine what would happen if he took a hit like that right now. Kyle felt that maybe he really needed to study the lower realm. After all, as the books from the lower realm say, know yourself and your enemy, and you will be victorious in 100 battles. Only by knowing the core of their civilization and the world core of the lower realm can one defeat and reject others. But every time he had this thought, a moment later, it would trigger a strong resistance. He knew this was the Lord's warning not to make the angels feel anxious and disgusted, but I don't know why. As time passed, the resistance and aversion in his heart grew weaker and weaker, and he couldn't help wanting to understand the lower realm. It was also that day, seeing the powerful black dragon shot down, that made Kyle unable to hold back anymore. First, he hypocritically comforted himself. This was originally the task assigned by the Lord. But the moment Kyle sat in his chair, he began to greedily read a vast number of books. But as he watched, his worldview began to tremble constantly. Finally, he couldn't even help re-examining his own Lord. You must know, he used to be the right hand. I was the right hand in the soul's purgatory, yet I still possessed great energy and firm faith. Now, after being locked in the lower realm for just a few months, my faith has begun to waver, defeated by emptiness and loneliness. I couldn't help being subtly influenced by the culture and history of the lower realm. Of course, I also blamed this on the vileness of the people here. If they hadn't contaminated my body with electrical energy or kept sending me books, if they hadn't kept playing those massive national documentaries, TV shows like Revealing the Universe, I would absolutely still be the Lord's most beloved angel. A few days later, life in the lab was easier than I imagined. Besides having to cooperate with some daily photos, I could use my free time however I wanted. But I had nowhere to go, so I just stayed in the research institute. I spent my time either charging up or sleeping. Fortunately, Gordon came to chat with me every day. Though the reason was to give me psychological counseling, the things he talked about felt strange. It was all common life trivialities, or taking me to see news and forums to roast netizens. We watched movies and series together, which I opposed since it didn't seem like serious counseling. But Gordon replied that doing all that was to help me stay connected to society. Since I couldn't argue with him, I just let him do it. I really had been disconnected from society for a long time and needed to reintegrate quickly. That night, I asked Gordon to help me log into my Earth account. I asked him to write in a group chat called Chicken Dinner Tonight. Brothers, I'm back. Did you miss me? Gordon, you really are a great friend. Is that you? Weren't you missing? How did you suddenly show up? I thought you had gone abroad like Oscar. Hearing this, I felt a bit confused. Don't they say the environment abroad isn't very friendly for us? Is that what people were saying? Did Oscar go abroad too? For common people, Frank seems to have a point. For the rich, it's different. Those foreigners love gold. You just have to give them a kilogram of cash gold for it to become their faith. Then you can get their blessing, adopt their customs, and live freely abroad. Oscar took that path. Damn it, that bastard didn't even invite me when he left. And I considered him a brother. Now the country has tightened supervision on gold and travel. It's not so easy to go abroad anymore. Love and hate can't be explained in a few words. They say online it's easy to get investigated. Where are you now? Let's get together tonight and talk about it in detail. Oh, I'm in another city right now. I still can't come back for the time being. He went abroad. And what about Peter? What happened to him? Why did he leave the group? He went to practice the cult of evil gods, and his account was blocked. He was also arrested. Now he's in the detention center. I was a bit confused. Peter is also an outstanding student from a top university. He has a higher education. How could he get involved in this? How is he now? He should be getting out soon, right? Speaking of which, he also had bad luck. Isn't Peter an astronomy buff? He had joined some amateur circles. When he had nothing to do, he liked to look at the sky with a telescope. Before, nothing ever happened. But recently, while he was stargazing, he claimed he saw something he shouldn't have. He started talking about ancient gods and cosmic horrors. That's how the trouble started. But since our country was teleported to this world, the situation is completely different. The stars above our heads are no longer the material objects we once knew. They are unknown energy bodies. Staring at them with high-power telescopes is dangerous. It's easier to be observed and contaminated by their power. An amateur astronomy circle that Peter belonged to was collectively corrupted by an evil god. He was charmed into spreading propaganda online to find believers. Then, the relevant department discovered it quickly, and they were all sent for ideological education at the detention center. Hearing this, my mood became inexplicably heavy. I didn't expect so many changes in my small circle. You can see how massive the impact of this world teleportation will be on our society. It's no exaggeration to say people are terrified, and there are dark undercurrents everywhere. John, what the hell have you been doing these last few days? The police station came looking for me to ask about your situation. They asked, in great detail, you haven't gotten into something huge, have you? No, I replied. I was just scammed in an online romance and locked in a black hole cave for 6 months. I casually invented an excuse. I have something to do. I have to go. We'll talk later. All right, take care of your business first. If you need help with anything, just tell me. Don't carry it alone. After closing the group chat, I noticed something strange. It seemed like someone was in a place that had nothing to do with Earth. I didn't expect it. But Gordon rejected it without hesitation, with just a glance. Why reject it? This is my Earth account, right? At least ask my opinion. Because it's a scammer's account. It's obviously a scam. But I clearly saw in the verification message that it said they were a believer in Freya, the goddess of love. She claimed to be guided by the goddess of love to find my account and wanted to receive the goddess's blessings with me and become a loving couple. Precisely because she said that, it proves she's a scammer. Because the goddess of love, Freya, is a native deity. Her divine power currently cannot influence our people at all. 90% of the people who use this kind of excuse to add friends online are scammers. Hearing this, I was still a little annoyed. I always feel like Grace is acting possessive. This woman has already set her eyes on me, her innocent little lamb. If you don't believe me, look for yourself. There are many reports online about this. After all, the goddess of love is real in this world. Using her name to scam people for money and sex is much smarter than selling tea. I thought for a moment and felt she might be right. That faith in the goddess of love is spreading widely in our society. I remembered our national situation and asked suddenly. Yes, she said. After all, the pursuit and longing for sex and love have always been the nature and instinct of our humanity. There are many single people in our country. Many are very anxious about their personal problems. It's just that Freya's divine power hasn't been able to influence our territory. Otherwise, she could help us solve many social problems. Hearing this, my eyes suddenly lit up. If we could invite professionals like the goddess of love, Freya, to organize some dating sites, marriage agencies, and so on, the business would definitely be very prosperous. It would be very profitable. The more I thought about it, the more I felt there was potential. In the future, if one of her believers adds me as a friend, I expect you to ask my opinion first before deciding to accept or reject. But they're obviously fakes. Those believers are scammers using the name of the goddess of love. Mr. John, your identity is special. You shouldn't associate with these kinds of shady women. As your psychological counselor, I naturally have an obligation to look after you. Why are you getting so nervous? I find it a bit funny. I'm no fool, nor am I some easily excited pig. It's not that easy to trick me. The reason I add them is because I'm very interested in Freya, the goddess of love. I want to get information from them to facilitate future cooperation. Besides, Freya is a deity after all. Who can guarantee that her divine power won't be able to affect us on a national level? Maybe that girl just now really was guided by a god to find me. Maybe she's my predestined soulmate. There aren't that many predestined soulmates. Stepping back, if her divine power is really that great, then why did that person only add your WeChat and not call you directly? I blinked and suddenly felt it was fun to see Grace fall apart. Isn't my phone number suspended? Besides, this is your phone. Is she using your phone number? Hearing this, Grace was left speechless. But Freya is a deity. If her power can really interfere in our country, I don't believe she couldn't find my phone number. If that person was truly guided by Freya, then she should call me right now. As soon as she finished speaking, the phone in Grace's hand actually started to vibrate. The screen showed an unknown number. It's surely a virtual internet number, used specifically for scamming. Grace felt a vague sense of foreboding. She quickly found an excuse and hung up the phone. It couldn't be a coincidence, could it? I was also a bit surprised, but I felt I had to show Grace some respect. It wasn't appropriate to provoke her too much, so I said nothing. However, seconds later, another unknown number called. Grace hung up by reflex. Then came the third and the fourth. Just as Grace was getting furious and about to turn off the phone, I finally couldn't help but speak up. Answer it. Running away doesn't solve the problem. After all, I'm also a psychological counselor, even if I got in through the back door. Grace's mental strength is actually quite good. After I said that, she quickly snapped out of it, adjusted her mindset, and answered the phone. Hello, who is this? There was a moment of silence on the other end, and then a cautious female voice spoke. Hello, could I speak with John, please? John? I don't know any John. You have the wrong number, right? Impossible. This number is the guide that gave me an idea. I can definitely contact John through it. Hearing this, Grace's expression changed and she winked at the nearby staff. Then she stalled for time. God, Freya, are you a believer of the goddess of love? That's right. I'm not just a devout believer, but I am also the saint she chose. Grace curled her lips in contempt. So, why is Freya asking you to look for John, to have him come with me and receive Freya's blessing? Freya personally told me that John is her sacred son and also the only one destined for me. Naturally, the sooner we are together, the better. Wasn't Freya's divine power supposed to be unable to affect us on a national level? How did you manage this? With gold, of course. I specifically went abroad to offer her 100 kilograms of gold. Even with his good upbringing, Marcus couldn't help but curse. In his heart right now, what insane money. You have to realize that gold is worth over 25 million credits. Besides, with the current supervision of the lower nation over gold, this woman's family must be incredibly wealthy and powerful. Don't you know that going abroad secretly and smuggling that much gold is a serious violation of the law? I know. That's why I need to contact John as soon as possible, so he can run away with me. Marcus was speechless. Only then did he realize that the girl on the other end was obviously a bit foolish and naive. Since you're Freya's saint, then you must know a lot about him, right? Of course. What do you want to know? Do you also want to join our religion of the goddess of love? Yes, a little. Marcus pretended to be moved. But first, I need to clarify something. How exactly is Freya's divine power exercised? What do you mean? The other side didn't react for a moment. I mean, how does Freya help her believers find their other half? Is it through big data or something like that? Hearing this, the other side seemed even more confused. Think about it. As the god who rules over love, Freya's faith must be very extensive. There are at least tens of millions of believers. Managing such a large number is obviously a massive job, so I want to know if you have a huge database using special algorithms for the big data allocation of destiny. Unexpectedly, upon hearing this, the other side immediately became furious. Heretic, how dare you question and profane Freya? I will definitely report your crab poison smoke to Freya so she can stop you. Single for life or a jerk for life? Oh, is it that evil? I'm so scared. Such bad taste. For a priestess? You're so stingy. How did she choose you? You're right. I am the priestess. I am the priestess. I cannot get angry. You almost made me lose my mind with rage. I forgot what's important. I'm looking for John. Could I bother you to put me in touch with him? Sorry. Marcus was about to refuse again, but suddenly remembered my earlier reminder. He looked up at me with a questioning gaze. I shook my head. Marcus's question also touched my heart. How is the divine power of the god of love exercised? He gives to people. What are the standards and basis of destiny? Is it a comprehensive consideration of honor and learning? Factors like the three perspectives and personality, or random allocation, directly modifying underlying data to control and change people's minds and tastes, forcing two people together. The more I think about it, the more I lean toward the last possibility. This god of love is probably not as reliable as the legend says. Seeing that I didn't want to pay attention to the other side, Marcus was naturally very happy. Sorry, I don't have any prince here. You have the wrong number. Following normal procedure, he should hang up immediately, but unfortunately, the technical department hasn't tracked the information and address of the other side yet. So Marcus has to argue with her again. Impossible. I'm dialing the number with my eyes closed. How could I be wrong? It's definitely you, you evil woman. You just don't want to help me contact the prince. Little sister, do you really not have mental problems? Dialing the number with your eyes closed. How could that be right? You don't understand the reason why I have to close my eyes. It's the intuition of great power. It's as if he himself were dialing the number for me. Hearing this, the face of Marcus, who has always been stable and brave, also turned a bit somber. I didn't expect the power of the god of love could actually already affect the country. And Sarah also felt inexplicably a bit restless. Only then did she hear the person on the other side of the phone speak again. So make the prince answer the phone quickly, or don't blame me for being rude to you. Me? I know someone called the prince, but I won't help you contact him. Why? If my attitude toward you isn't good, then I can apologize. I'm sorry. Please help me contact the prince, okay? No. Sarah looked at me and then answered her coldly. Because now he is my boyfriend. How could I allow you, who are trying to steal my man, to meet him? Impossible. You're lying. I am his girlfriend. This was determined by Freya. Don't scare me with Freya. This was determined by our own laws. Freya's fist cannot control our people. Fine. You actually want to oppose me, right? It doesn't matter. Love is separated by mountains and seas. All mountains and seas can be leveled. At that time, I will definitely teach you a lesson. In this moment, Sarah also became inexplicably angry. There's no need to wait until then. Declare it right now. You and I will set a time and place for an offline duel. Do you dare? Hearing this, the other person immediately got angry. My name doesn't change when I walk. You can call me Wendy. But before she could finish speaking, the call suddenly cut off. I wasn't the one who hung up. Wait a bit, see if she calls back. Then Sarah turned around again. She looked at the head of the technical team. This signal has been specially encrypted. It uses a completely unknown algorithm. With our current technology, we still can't crack it. Sigh. It seems it really is Freya's power that is maintaining the confidentiality. What's most baffling now is why she contacted Mr. John and how she reached him. Could it really be that dark metaphysics? But he leans more toward the idea that someone leaked the secret. That an informed believer of the god of love secretly told Freya about Mr. John's situation. That's why she did all this. Isn't it said that the power of the gods cannot affect our country? So what is going on with this god of love, Mr. John, regarding this situation? In fact, we had already foreseen this. Freya is the native deity with the widest spread of faith in our country. There are currently at least 30 million believers, and our country has always respected religious freedom. Naturally, it is very difficult to prevent and strictly defend against this. We aren't very surprised by this little action of hers. In fact, we have contemplated even worse scenarios. We have wondered what would happen if one day the barrier that isolates us from the outside disappeared. not to mention the deities and demons lurking out there. The supernatural creatures surrounding our borders would be enough to cause serious problems for us. Many of us have that strong premonition. That barrier will disappear sooner or later, and that moment won't take long to arrive. Therefore, we must be prepared for the worst at all times. We must also make the necessary preparations for what is to come. I need to make the necessary preparations as soon as possible. Until nightfall, the believer didn't call back. I assume Freya realized something was wrong and stopped that believer's crazy actions. By now, most of the staff had already gone down. Only I, alone like a dragon, watched the stars, contemplating a faint speck of stardust in the southwestern night sky. They say that is Freya's divine realm. As I looked, I suddenly felt that my eyesight wasn't very good. I couldn't even see the stars in the sky clearly. It was much worse than an astronomical telescope. I know that supernatural creatures have extremely strong control over their own bodies. Perhaps, as long as I concentrate my attention on some part of my body, I can use my subjective will to reshape every cell there. I can reorganize it so the organ becomes stronger. Adjusting the focal length of the retina shouldn't be difficult, right? Thinking of this, I decided to act immediately. I closed my eyes and concentrated my attention. Under my manipulation, a massive charge surged wildly from my heart and converged toward my eyes. The magnitude was such that even through my thick dragon scales, you could see the electric light flowing inside my body. Seeing this scene, the staff member on duty came down. "What's wrong? What's happening to your eyes?" he asked when I didn't respond. He also rushed to notify Professor Dean. Shortly after, Dean Sweven arrived panting. By then, I had already completed the reshaping of my eyes and explained the reason to him. Upon hearing the truth, Dean Sweven was surprised and, at the same time, very happy. After all, I can still quickly recharge my body with electrical energy. Furthermore, I can reshape and strengthen my body structure at will. When the day comes when I can truly charge 10,000 kilowatt hours, maybe I can fly into the sky and annihilate all those so-called gods. Though I think that's a bit of an exaggeration. Dean Sweven doesn't think so, because even gods weren't born strong. With your current talent, and our whole country supporting you, it's possible you could surpass them. These old gods have dominated this world for too long. It is time for us, the people of this nation, to establish a new order. It's time for us to take control. The next day, the audience's favorite show, Inside the Dragon, aired as scheduled. This was the 8th day since my entry into the country. During this time, my script has also changed from the beginning when I was short-tempered. Back then, I liked destroying things at will, but now I've become a docile, calm, and rational dragon. The official explanation to the public is that at first, due to an evil god's curse, the black dragon's thoughts were confused. His temperament was volatile. Now, due to the protection of the laws within the country, the curse on the black dragon has weakened, causing him to gradually regain his reason. Along with this, the government also revealed to the outside world that the black dragon, driven by curiosity, has developed a great interest in our civilization, technology, and culture, and that they had the idea of recruiting me. As soon as they proposed this idea, netizens immediately reached a boiling point. A dragon will never be a slave, unless you include room and board. This is obviously reasonable, but some netizens also feel that the black dragon is extremely arrogant and that recruiting him is a ticking time bomb. Those who are not of our race surely have different hearts. For a moment, netizens split into two main factions and began a fierce confrontation online. Fortunately, government officials were guiding the conversation, shifting the direction of public opinion. However, the government is well aware that planning my future is still a major problem. To make the performance look real, they decided to first return me to the outside world. The next afternoon, the news channel broadcast that my body was completely exhausted. I had supposedly fallen into a coma due to a long-term lack of magic and high energy consumption. After a detailed examination and diagnosis, the experts agreed I had to be sent back immediately. The experts from the National Academy insisted on returning me to the exterior as soon as possible. As soon as the host finished speaking, the camera showed me being hoisted onto a trailer. The footage captured me hanging there, looking lifeless on the transport vehicle. The trailer moved slowly toward Port 2. The entire process was very quiet. There was no release ceremony or photo op. We only made one brief stop. It was just for the film crew to get some close-up shots before continuing toward the barrier. Seeing that I was about to return to the outside world, people felt a sense of finality. The reporter, Ben Wong, suddenly felt a bit disappointed by the sudden departure. The military officer in charge had told him earlier that if I woke up now, they would give him a few minutes to interview me. Although the live broadcast showed I had mastered certain skills, safety concerns had prevented close-up interviews. Ben thought he'd miss this once-in-a-lifetime chance. Unexpectedly, he saw Sophie walking toward a car filled with books. Ben asked, "Are you going abroad?" Sophie replied, "Yes. If I don't go, how will I give him these books? But it's too dangerous. The black dragon is completely different once he's back in the outside world. What if he turns on you and forgets who you are? You'd be in danger." "It's fine, Ben. You should know that some risks are meant to be taken by someone. The black dragon is a very proud creature. If you want his true friendship, you must earn it when he is sober and at his best." So, when he wakes up abroad, I must be there to talk to him. That way, our work won't be in vain. Anything else? I have to go. When Sophie comes to rescue you, can you take me along? Take you? You want to go too? What? The military officer, Marcus, feigned surprise and then shook his head resolutely. No, no, this is far too dangerous. In fact, that was exactly what Marcus wanted to hear. The reason he kept pacing in front of Ben was to bait him into wanting to go abroad too. He needed Ben there to interview me and set the stage for the future plot. However, some things can't be said directly. You have to take the long way around. It had to be Ben who proposed the idea himself. That way it would look more real and have a better effect on the show's ratings. But didn't you just say it wasn't dangerous? How does it suddenly become dangerous when I'm around? Ben questioned. You can't go. How can it be the same? After all, I have a certain relationship with the Black Dragon, but he doesn't know you at all. He might allow me to get close, but he won't necessarily allow you. If something unexpected happens, I can't take that responsibility. You don't need to take any responsibility. Ben declared immediately, just take me with you. If something happens, I'll take responsibility myself. As the large truck slowly crossed the barrier, almost at that exact same instant, the Black Dragon's body was like a terrifying black hole waking up. It frantically absorbed the surrounding magical elements. Its power formed a visible energy around it. What is that? A minute later, the Black Dragon opened its eyes, meeting everyone's expectations. Immediately, every single viewer couldn't help but hold their breath. In a foreign land, in an environment saturated with magical elements, the Black Dragon's aura undoubtedly underwent a qualitative transformation. I walked around, stretching my body, and then suddenly rushed toward the large truck nearby, spitting out a massive blast of dragon breath. This blast of dragon breath reached several dozen meters. The large truck didn't even have the chance to explode. It turned directly into a pool of molten iron. Seeing that the atmosphere and emotions were finally ready, Sophie knew it was her turn to step onto the stage. She told Ben, who was in the passenger seat, don't say anything for now. Let me talk to him first. All right, Ben nodded obediently. The instant the van crossed the barrier, I turned around sharply, radiating a dangerous aura. Lord Black Dragon, please, don't be upset. It's me, your friend, Sophie. Friend? I examined her for a moment and slowly uttered 2 syllables. Yes, friend. Sophie took the initiative to step forward. I played my part skillfully, bringing my dragon face inches from hers for several minutes before pulling back. Very well, you are brave. You truly deserve to be my friend. I, Typhon, have never understood what it means to repay a debt of gratitude. But this time, I owe you people of Earth a favor. Thank you for saving me. Typhon, your name is Typhon? Sophie feigned surprise and joy. That's right, I replied. I looked at the sky at a 45-degree angle and said gravely, I haven't used that name in a long time. Why is that? Sophie asked deliberately. Slaves don't deserve names, and I was enslaved by an evil god for 300 years. I'm sorry, my friend. I have inadvertently stirred up your painful memories. It doesn't matter, I still have my composure, even if you don't believe it. Now, people of Earth, you did things before that truly angered me, but after all, you also saved my life, and you didn't think of enslaving or exploiting me just because I'm a dragon. Instead, you gave me sufficient respect and freedom. For the sake of friendship and reason, I will remember your kindness. It's wonderful that you think that way, Typhon. This is the reporter, Ben, from our country's national television station. He would very much like to interview you. Would that be all right? I leaned down and examined Ben for a moment. Yes, your country is a great nation. It has shown me, Typhon, kindness, and it deserves my respect. Mr. Typhon, hello. I am the reporter Ben from the national television station. It is a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Typhon. Everyone is very curious about your origin. Could you introduce yourself? I have nothing to introduce. I am nothing more than a black dragon from the land of High Bi, over 300 years old with 300 years of labor. Not long ago, the evil god who exploited me mysteriously suffered grave wounds, and only then could I break free. After many hardships, I collapsed in your country on Earth. Typhon, that should only be a part of your name, right? What is the true name of your dragon race? The true name of our dragon race. It is actually like our family tree. By my generation, it takes at least 10 minutes to recite. I don't think it's necessary. This, naturally, would happen on the return journey. Because not even I know my true name yet. To know the true name of a dragon, it must be spoken in lines. And the draconic tongue is a very ancient and complex magical language. A normal person cannot understand it, much less remember or repeat it, so there is no way to define it. Although Ben felt some disappointment, he continued asking, Mr. Typhon, before having face-to-face contact with you, I always thought you were a very dangerous and very short-tempered dragon. But the feeling you give me now is very kind, very approachable. Compared to your previous behavior in the territory, one could say it's completely different. Could it be that you were a different dragon then? What caused such a change in you, people of the lower realm? Don't you have a saying about being moody? Now that I'm free, I'm naturally in a state of joy. But in a little while, that might not be the case anymore. Ben took a step back instinctively. Mr. Typhon, your current state. It's clear that you speak the lower language very well now. Is this due to the linguistic talent of dragons? You should have heard of a magic called language comprehension. Compared to ancient magical tongues, your lower language is nothing like a dragon's. It isn't complex at all and is very easy to learn. Doesn't that mean all your previous actions were actually a disguise? I was always watching you in secret, half and half. Half of it was the curse on my body at that time. It hasn't fully dissipated yet, and my emotions weren't very stable. The other half was that I was indeed faking it, to paralyze your guard and observe you in secret. Secretly learning about you, the people of the lower realm. Through your observation, what is your true feeling about our lower realm? Very grand, very powerful, very terrifying. Our world will surely experience transcendental changes because of your arrival. However, the physical strength of you people in the lower realm is far too weak, and you generally lack firm faith. This is undoubtedly very dangerous in a world full of wonders. So, as an extraordinary being with an ancient heritage, do you have any advice for us? Don't trust in magic. You'd be better off making a deal with the devil than trusting in the promises of magic. But didn't you just say that we, the people of the lower realm, generally lack faith? If we don't believe in magic, what else is there to believe in? I didn't answer. I just watched the setting sun. I have to go. Fine. Although Ben still had many questions, since the black dragon had spoken, he could only give up with regret. Seeing I was about to take off, Sophie rushed over. Wait a moment, Typhon. I prepared a gift for you. I see that. You really like learning, don't you? So I carefully chose hundreds of books for you. They are all classic books from our Earth civilization. I'm sure there's something in here you'll like. You're very thoughtful. I nodded to Sophie, pretending to be moved. I must solemnly recommend this specific book to you. I'm sure you'll like it. With that, Sophie pulled out a copy of Marx's Capital. This was meant to be a turning point in my early journey. The moment the black dragon first comes into contact with revolutionary thought, developing a strong interest and gradually transforming into a steadfast revolutionary dragon. But at this exact historical moment, an accident occurred. My pupils contracted suddenly. Without even having time to shout a warning, I suddenly released a breath that sent Sophie flying back. Almost at the same time, the setting sun, which was about to disappear, suddenly radiated an intense light. The sunlight struck the exact spot where Sophie had just been standing. I was out in front, and I thought the worst. I could feel it directly. The sun.